Hey, Rob Chris here, your functional pharmacist. This is beyond a 60-second wellness tip of the day. So it was asked of me about adrenal support. I was speaking to someone who I really think could probably use some help, and I know a lot of people can. So what I want to do, and honestly, a lot of times we've got to work one-on-one together. So if you want more information on this, and if you really want to dial things, if you think adrenal issues are part of you or any other thing, just reach out to me and we can do a consult. We can work with you that way. So what I want to provide to you right now is an mini adrenal and cortisol clinic. So what are our adrenal glands and why do they matter? We usually don't even know we have them until we hit that wall, until stress overwhelms us, until we are peeling ourselves out of bed in the morning, until we always feel tired and run down. Now, what they are, they're these little glands that rest a little bit above our kidneys. And there are glands of the fight or flight response. Now, we've been designed, I guess you could say, or how we've evolved over the years. Our adrenal glands and our whole response system is great for short-term stress. That's basically fight or flight, and it all really goes back to hunter-gatherer days, to the point where we're foraging in the Serengeti and we're looking for food, and suddenly an animal sees us and wants us to be their food. So we either got to stand and fight or we got to get the heck out of there. So, and what happens in that case is our adrenal glands, and what our body will do, it will take the energy out of areas it doesn't need at that time and put it where it does. So it's going to take the energy, the cortisol, the adrenaline, and put it in our brain for critical thinking and our muscles to get out of the way, but not so much in areas that we don't need it, like digestive tract, right? So when we have these two main different areas of our nervous system, we've got fight or flight, and then we got rest and digest. So we need to find a balance. So let's talk about adrenals. So the adrenals, we're gonna just look at cortisol for this one. The main hormone, and let me just step back real quick. One of the challenges is that right now in the life that we live, we have more chronic stress. We don't have these short-term issues. So we're not designed to handle stress really well chronically. Because if you think about it, when I just talked about fight or flight or rest and digest, well, we're not able to get into rest and digest a lot if we're in chronic stress. We're always in fight or flight. So that can lead to inflammatory disorders, obviously digestive issues. Think of the gut. Think of the gut-brain connection, right? So support of the brain cognition and memory. Inflammation, as I mentioned, immunity, that's like 80% of our immune system. So it's a really important thing to look at. Once again, this is a mini clinic, so I can't get into everything with it. So how we measure the function of our adrenal glands is through cortisol. So the adrenal glands will kick out cortisol. Now I've got an example here for you. This would be, say if someone was to wake up at 7 in the morning, okay? Average wake up in the morning. This is going to be a healthy cortisol response. And we can measure this through like salivary testing. That's the best way opposed to a blood test, because a blood test you go for an 8 a.m. draw, which would be like right here. And that's the only draw that you have of the day. If we do salivary testing, we can test at tissue level and you can spit in a tube 4 times a day throughout the day. So that's definitely a preferred way to go. Now, say you were to wake up at 7 in the morning. Well, at 4 a.m. is when your adrenal function, your cortisol levels are at its lowest. It's going to slowly start rising until about that 7 a.m. when you wake up. Now, about 45 minutes after 7 a.m. is generally, this isn't a healthy response, this is a healthy response, your highest level of cortisol in the day. Now what's going to happen, it's going to slowly decrease as the day goes on. Remember, this is a healthy one, so you see it drop at noon, at 5 and 10. So it lays down and it allows you to get to sleep in a healthy manner. Now, throughout the day, aside from acute stressors, there are 2 things that can elevate your cortisol levels. One would be eating, so we usually see spikes after meals, and 2 would be exercise. And this is why I caution people not to exercise too late at night, and because it might inhibit their sleeping or cause trouble. And if they do, to take a product that's like a cortisol balancer, such as Relora. It's one of my favorites. Now, any of this stuff, reach out if you have any questions. On my links, you can find my nutritional dispensary. Everything's always 15% off, shipped right to your door. But I'm happy to answer general questions or even sit down with you in a consult. Now, let me give you an example. These are these red lines, examples of what cortisol levels can look like. And there's a lot of different ones. I just want to simplify this one. This would be just the opposite. This would be, we wake up and it's low, we're peeling ourselves out of bed, but then it rises as the day goes on. This, through one of the labs that I work with, they actually did a study. I remember this was about 10 or 12 years ago. This was a common pattern in a lot of women who had breast cancer, actually. Their cortisols were elevated at night and low in the morning. Now, if you've ever heard the term adrenal fatigue, when you hit a wall, basically, it's almost like a flat line. This is when you're tired all day. This is where nothing can really shake or jar you. You know, you just, I mean, you could still crack under pressure and be very sensitive to things, short-tempered and stuff like that. So that's other symptoms and side effects of adrenal response and adrenal stress. It doesn't always have to be feeling tired. It can also be being agitated, being on edge. It could be hunger cravings, obviously difficulty sleeping, distractions of the mind, not able to focus or concentrate. So there's a lot of symptoms. You can Google that. I could post something on that as well. So what do we do? How do we fix it? Because honestly, where you are today and where your cortisol levels are today are not, they are representative of your story, what's been going on the last many years. Heck, it could be from birth. That's why a lot of times we do what's called a functional medicine timeline to really start from day one and see all the things that impacted you today. You can even bring up what's known as the Holmes Raw Life Stress Inventory, where you can take a check. You know, you can look there and see all the things that have happened to you within the last 1 or 2 years, and it'll give you an idea of your risk factors for developing illness. So, managing imbalance and stress is important, even if you feel you're not stressed. So many times I hear people say, well, I'm not stressed. I was, but I'm not anymore. So this is something that we really need to look at. So how do we do this? My adrenal RX, my adrenal prescription for you. We need to impart rest, okay? We need to make sure we're not just going gung-ho all day long. Give ourselves time to relax, times of meditation to clear that mind. 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes in the evening. That's very important. And we need to balance these rest quotients throughout the day with our work and focus and energy. That'll actually help us feel a lot better, and it'll support our adrenals. These are called ultradian rhythms. So that's another great idea. Sleep, naps. It's important to get to sleep. We can do a lot of things to help you get to sleep with supplements and stuff like that. So let me know if you have any questions. But getting to bed on a regular schedule will do phenomenal. I'm a big fan of naps. Take a nap in the afternoon. 20 minutes is great. Beyond that, you might wake up feeling groggy. Move. I'm not asking you to exercise too much, but don't be sedentary. Being sedentary will make all levels of stress much worse. Have reasonable expectations. Do not overcommit yourself. Find balance within your life, within your family, within your profession. Supplements. Some of my favorite supplements. I'm a big fan of adaptogens. Adaptogens are like rhodiola, ashwagandha, ginseng. There's a myriad of them. And they all have their own unique benefits, but what they do is they support the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal systems. So they help this communication so it can talk back and forth. Glandulars, this would be if people's adrenals are very low. We provide the protein where we can start repairing the adrenals for themselves. Foundationals, we need to get on some magnesium, Bs, and vitamin C. These are food for the adrenals, okay? That's what the adrenals, the fuel that the adrenals need. Cortisol balancers, as I said, this could fall in the range of adaptogens, or remember when I talked about exercise, or maybe if we have high spikes at nighttime, I might look at something like a Relora. I'm a big fan of that. And then there's inhibitory neurotransmitters. This is a big one. These are the ones where we lying awake at night and our mind's running and we can't slow it down. Well, in those cases, we need to get up out of bed and take ourselves from the situation, get into a different room. But things like GABA and L-theanine can work really well to calm down that chaotic mind, and it can work well in the daytime as well. I've got some favorite supplements, like Zen Adapt is one of my favorites. So anyway, this is your mini adrenal and cortisol clinic. I wanted to give you an idea of the importance, I hopefully you grasp that, how lifestyle matters. And it's not just about supplements, but supplements also play a big role. And understand an imbalanced adrenal effect can be a risk factor for all causes of diseases, inflammation, heart disease, diabetes, stroke, you name it, across the board. So really important. That's it. So Rob Kress here. Find me at robkress.com or functionalpharmacy.com. Wherever you saw it, you can check out the link. Message me. The link will have my nutritional dispensary if there's anything you like. Always 15% off. And on robkress.com, if you're into any consults, I can help you out with that too. Have a great day.